And we are live. Truth Teacher, thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, my
Thank you.
pleasure.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I totally did not just take you away from something way more important than to be here. Of course not. Why would I? That would be so mean. But but no, this stream pretty much is it was actually a user, a listener of my YouTube channel decided to, wanted to hear my take on the whole Baltimore City type of school issue and Baltimore City issue when it came to grade level either reading and math, and unfortunately, there's Baltimore City has shown that their math and reading skills when it comes to grade level isn't up to par, and actually 0% of kids actually read or do math at a grade level. So that's something very important that one first of all, one is extra very devastating. I didn't know it was to that extent. you know um it pretty much touches a little bit upon how these school systems miseducate our kids,
Yep.
and some of us become victim of miseducation. And even though I know a lot of people are tired of me saying white supremacy, but this kind of plays into the fact of white supremacy, does it not?
Well, absolutely. Not only white supremacy, but the overall
gamut
class
gamut
structure.
of things, yeah.
Because remember, white supremacy, racism, whatever you want to call it, is just one of the mechanisms of the class structure.
Yeah.
Keep the elite in their place and make sure that no one else can challenge them. So it's white supremacy is really, when you get right down to it, it's about class warfare.
Yeah.
So if you're
And
poor, or if you're a person of quote unquote color, you're not being served.
Yeah, and also we have to understand that one, we also have to, it's not all these kids' fault, and I don't want to just blame it on the school system. We also have to see the parents and their roles into it. Now, every parent isn't going to be given all the time in the world. We don't know everybody's situation, but we also do understand that parents do play a big role
Oh,
into this.
absolutely.
And some of these parents, for whatever reason, they failed or whatever the case is, we shouldn't be solely blaming them, but they should be getting some of the blame as well. I'm not gonna just blame the school system and leave the parents out of this. You know what I mean? But I wanna just give that intro first. And the reason why I have Truth Teacher here is because he says that he's a former teacher. I still consider him a relevant teacher. I still consider him a current teacher because, to be honest, he teaches me about new things every day. He teaches us about new things every day. So that's the reason why I have him here, because he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to the school system. Me, as someone who was part of the public school system, I wasn't educated the way I wanted to be.
None
But
of it work.
exactly. But I could probably give you, my little experience on the side of that. But without further ado, first of all, I with that out the way, I want to show these two videos. They probably going to be somewhat repetitive, but I want to just show these two videos because it brings up a much bigger topic than me and Truth can really portray.
Brings
What happened?
nothing, nothing. Go ahead.
Okay, Truth, if you could do me a favor, just mute up real quick. And first of all, this first video is by Black Conservative representative. Shout out to him. Um, he's the first video that made me. Well, one of my users sent me his video, and he's the reason why I'm making this live. So definitely shout out to him. And let's watch this video, and then I'm gonna play another one, and then we're gonna discuss. All right. So here we go.
Test scores are released.
Our Project Baltimore team analyzed the results, and as Chris Papps reports, there's a shocking number of city schools where not a single student is doing math at grade level.
I see the brightness of Baltimore kids.
It's now been more than a year.
We're not living up to our potential.
Since Giovanni Patterson made national headlines by suing Baltimore City schools for failing to properly educate generations of students.
We, the taxpayer.
By the way, shout out to the Latino kid right here. Say, look at him all sad because he don't know how to read or count. You heard? You trying to count? He don't know.
Are funding our own demise.
Patterson was born here. He has seen the failures firsthand. But what Project Baltimore just told him at first rendered him speechless.
My immediate reaction is take your kids out of these schools.
The Maryland State Department of Education has released the 2022 state test results known as MCAP, Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program. Baltimore City's math scores were the lowest in the state. Just 7% of 3rd through 8th graders tested proficient in math. That means 93% could not do math at grade level. But that's not all we found. Project Baltimore combed through scores at all 150 city schools where the state math test was given. We found in 23 Baltimore City schools, there were 0 students who tested proficient in math. Not a single student.
Is this why you filed your lawsuit, because of outcomes like this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It just sounds like these schools now have turned into essentially babysitters with no accountability. This is the future of our city. Like we got to change this.
Among the list of 23 schools, here's how the numbers break down. 10 of them are high schools. 8 are elementary schools. 3 are middle high schools, and 2 are elementary middle schools. Exactly 2,000 students in total took the state math test at these schools, and not one could do math at grade level.
So I'm gonna pause it right here, and I'm going to show the other video. I'm gonna show the other video. It coincides with the first video. So it could just give us a broader understanding of the situation. So here it goes.
MCAP, Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program. Every Maryland student is tested in 3rd through 8th grade, and once again in high school in both math and English. Scores place the students in one of 4 levels. Levels 1 and 2 are considered not proficient. 3 and 4 are proficient. We found in 23 Baltimore City schools, there were 0 students who tested proficient in math. Not a single student. And on that list, Johnston Square.
I wasn't surprised. It needs to be something done today. Yeah, they get a whole lot of money, and it's coming out my check. I see it.
Baltimore City funds nearly 20% of city schools. This year, that amount hit $309 million. So Project Baltimore sent an email to every city council member and Mayor Brandon Scott. We asked, who do you hold accountable for these concerning test results? What steps will you take as an elected leader to address these low scores and improve student outcomes? And will you ask for further investigation to determine why so many schools have so few students proficient in math? Councilman Eric Costello quickly replied, saying he was dismayed by our findings, adding, "This is not the performance that we expect for Baltimore's children." Costello also explained that City Council has virtually no control over the schools, saying the council can do very little when it comes to school performance and can't even withhold funds.
That we invest in them now.
As for the mayor, we didn't receive a reply.
As a mother of children who go to one of these 23 schools, do you want to hear from the mayor?
No, not really. I don't. Because what is he going to say? What is he going to do? But make a whole bunch of promises that he's not going to fulfill. So I just feel like that's pointless.
So I'm gonna stop it right there, and I'm going to add something else to the conversation very quickly. Baltimore is pretty much, the population is pretty much majority Black Americans, right? And there's been an uptick of Hispanic people, Latinos, into Baltimore. So we were 4% in 2010, and now we're 8% in 2020, which compared to the Black American population, there are compared to 40%. So the reason why I highlight that is because this also affects Latinos as well. We're not dismissed from this whole thing, but this also affects us as well. Now I want to start the conversation, since Truth Teacher is and was part of the public school system. What Truth, what do you have to say about this whole thing?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm retired from the school system. I left in 2005.
Nobody cares. Just go. Just tell me what you think. God
Well,
damn
here's
it.
the thing,
God damn it. I know nobody cares about your history. No, he's like, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing, I would love to say that this is a Baltimore problem, but it's not. This is a systemic nationwide problem. And I'm not surprised. And I'll tell you one thing else. If they're not even reaching grade level in math, they're also not reading on grade level. Their literacy skills are subpar. I know this from experience being a teacher in the public school system. And listen, this is not anything surprising to me. I'm surprised that everybody's acting all fucking brand new. Like
Yeah.
nobody realized that
And,
this is a problem.
I want to say something real quick. You're right on the whole reading at grade level, because on that longer clip, towards the middle, they also make a finding on English and reading comprehension, and they found that zero students um, were found to be proficient in reading comprehension and reading at grade level. But so you're correct on that. And I want to give a huge shout out to Black Girls Read. She says facts. She said, I've been teaching for 30 years in these colonizer systems. It's a mess, but I'm not the one, not scared to do what needs to be done. Shout out to Black Girl Read. And Jesse's podcast says, hey y'all, what's up, Radical? What's going on? Really quickly, I'm gonna ask Truth Teacher, you could answer it, but also Black Girls Read could answer it in the comments as well. Do you also believe that the parents should also take a part of the children's education? Because if the school is failing them, don't you think the parents should at least take a part of that, saying, okay, I'm gonna pick up the slack, even though I know all parents are not the same, they don't have the same thing, you know what I'm saying? But do you think at least that the parents should also be taking Soy Boricua? Oh, okay, shout out to you. But do you think that the parents should also take some not I'm not gonna say accountability, but should also take some of that burden and try to help the kids out?
Well, absolutely. Here's the thing. we got to recognize that the system is completely broken. We don't need any more investigations or, well, the system is broken. A lot of the problem is cultural. Our society does not value education the way we should. I mean, just think about it. Even in good performing schools, the kids who are getting the highest grades that are passing, what do we call them? That was a
Oh, wait, I'm
rhetorical.
sorry. I'm sorry. What happened?
I said the kids, even in the best of schools, the kids who are getting the best grades,
Yeah. What
they're
what
doing
what do
well.
we call
What do we
them?
call them in our
Nerd,
culture?
nerds,
Nerds,
gay, what was it? You don't know everything. I could do that too. Yo, so my dick.
so
Yeah.
right off the bat, our culture has a disregard for education right off the bat. Now, people would like to point to Asians, particularly Chinese. Oh, look at them. They score higher than everyone. But you know why Chinese are doing better than everyone else? It's hardwired in their culture. For more than 1,000 years, China has had a system where if you do well in school, that's your opportunity to move up in society. So they take education very, very seriously. And when they come over here, they still have that ingrained in them in their culture. So they don't mind taking time, you know, instead of having a social life, sacrificing that for the sake of studying and getting to know that material and getting good grades. Not only that, but their parents hold them to high standards. So anything below a A, that's not satisfactory. It's like, I didn't come to this country for my son or daughter to get A's, to get B's. So they hold those kids to high standards. We don't. So
Yeah.
we got that problem. Then
I
we've got
I I
the
wanna
parents,
real quick. I wanna read what Black Girl Reed says. They do their best they can. Many of our parents were victims of colonization. Yeah. We
Mhm.
need to help the parents to help their children. We need our own at this point. Yeah, you're right. Also, I did I did some further research, and I found out the ranking of the United States based on education. Last time I checked, this is the 2020. Actually, this is last year's study, 2022. Uh, Last time I checked, United States was 33, I believe. Right? Guess where United States is now?
God, in the 60s somewhere.
Yeah, no, you're right. 63.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. 36. It's in 36. So it went down from 33 to 36. Shangjing, China is
Shanghai.
number. I'm sorry. See, there you go. Public school system. My fault. Shanghai, China. Number one. Singapore, Hong Kong. You know, then goes Taiwan. Damn, all Asian
The
people.
top five. What
Top
not top,
five.
top
South
five.
Korea. Then number 12 is Finland. Number 26 above us is United Kingdom. 36 the United States. All the way down is Jordan. Damn, Colombia, yo, what the hell, yo, Colombia 62. Uh, then it goes Indonesia, Peru, and Ecuador.
Uh,
So what?
Qatar.
Qatar, yeah, Ecuador, whatever, same shit. Uh, so that says something. That says something to me that the school system overseas is a lot proficient than the ones over here, where in Shenzhen,
Shanghai.
Shanghai, Shanghai. Look at their scores on top: 600, 500, and our scores barely even touch that. They're in the 400 somethings. It says a lot. What do you take from things like that?
Well, it just goes back to what I was saying before. You know, you get these eggheads that want to talk about, oh, it's about the genetic. No, it's not the genetics, it's the culture. Those people take education seriously, whereas our culture views being intelligent as a negative. In addition to that, like Black Girl Reed said, a lot of the parents are at a deficit when it comes to being in a position to help their kids because they never got a proper education themselves. They're struggling with literacy themselves. The kid comes to them with math problems. They don't know what to do with, they don't know how to help them. But, the thing is that even if parents are at a deficit, they have to make the effort. The first thing that you can do is let your kids know that this is something that you take serious and you hold them to high expectations. Because you have instances where you got parents coming from Asia where English is not their first language. A lot of them, they don't even speak English. So they can't help their kids with literacy. But the kids know that their parents expect them to do well. So they can't come up in that house with a report card talking about no B's and C's because they're going to get their ass stomped. They know that.
Yeah, I wanna real quick. I wanna read the live chat for Rumble. Um, Kate says that the reason why she believes that Baltimore, the black and Latino students are not proficient is because of democratic policies. I don't think that might be the I don't think that might be it, but
It's
that's interesting. That's interesting to think about.
well. I'll say this. I don't know who to blame. You know, Democrats or Republicans. I think they both suck. Um, Here's the thing: they come in with an attitude. If you don't believe in the students and you don't believe that they're capable, and you don't hold them to high standards, they're not going to do well. And a lot of these so-called liberals, that are supposedly down for equal rights and all of this, they're coming at our kids a pers- from a perspective that these poor colored kids, they're not as intelligent as our white kids, and it's really unfair to hold them to the same standards as our kids because they're not intellectually capable. So we need to lower the standards and make them feel good. So there's a lot of this feel good bullshit going around, and our kids are suffering. And another thing that they've done,
Like everybody gets a trophy type of thing.
everybody gets a trophy,
Yeah.
everybody's equal. No, we can't have classes for, high performing students only because all the other kids, they're going to feel left out. We have to put them all in the same.
No, no, we gotta be. Listen, you're dumb. You're stupid. Shut up. Go back over there, learn, and maybe you could be with the white kids. No, let me just play. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. No, no, no. But no. But you're right. Continue. Go ahead.
Well, listen, does everybody have equal rights? Yes, they do. But is everybody on an equal playing field when it comes to acceleration in certain areas academically? No,
I
they're not.
no no. We're different levels. Yeah.
There's some kids that are on different levels, and it's not saying that the kids who are not on the top level can't get there, but you have to work with them in a different way. So for someone who, literacy and math comes to them a lot easier in science, you're really doing those kids a disservice if you're putting them in an environment with other students who can't catch up. Those kids need to be in an environment with kids that are on the same level as them. Now, the other children who are on a lower level, you need to assess where they are and say, okay, this is where they should be. How do we design our curriculum so that they can get up to the level where they need to be? You see, so all of this feel good type bullshit, it's not helping anyone. It's holding everybody back. And then when you get the situation where you got the emotionally disturbed kids and you can't get rid of them, a teacher can't get rid of them, they have to be in the same classroom. Well, now everybody's screwed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't tell me to sit down. So my dick teacher.
Exactly. I mean, listen, this goes, man. When I came to this country, I came here, I started the third grade. When I came back to this country, I should say, school was the most traumatic thing that ever happened to me. It took me years to get over the trauma that I sustained in the school system. And that trauma wasn't just the students, but even from the teachers. There were a lot of teachers in there that had no business whatsoever being around children. But just the mentality of the culture here. I mean, in Jamaica, the teacher was almost like God. Y- You had to mind your P's and Q's absolutely. So now coming from an environment like that where you had to show your teachers the utmost respect to now I'm in the United States a few months later and I'm in a classroom with this kid that gets
Yeah,
up
that's
in the
right. Yeah, that's right. My
room.
name is that's right. My name is Alejandro Hector. Yo, so my dick.
Exactly, that's exactly what happened. A kid comes
East
walking down.
183rd. East 183rd. You're don't pass my block, teacher. I'm gonna kill you.
Kid gets up out of his seat, grabbing his crotch, walking down the aisle, talking about suck my dick. First of all, I didn't even know what a dick was, but
First of
the
all, no, no,
fact
no, no,
that
no, 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 no. I went like, no. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me. Let me stop. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But this is a
but but
dramatic. This is a
supposed to.
dramatic. This is a dramatic representation of how it was. So my dick.
Exactly. So now I'm coming from an environment where education is respected. The most popular kid in school are the brightest kids. And when you're in class, you are paying 100% to the teacher and showing respect. And I'm in the middle of a freaking circus. And what,
Nah, nah, nah. That nigga gay. That nigga gay. Yo, 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 yo. Get his lunch money. Get his lunch money right now. Yo, 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 yo. Stomp his head. Stomp his head.
like seriously, it was a complete circus. And then what made it even worse was the fact that my teacher hated me. My teacher hated me. Why? Because I spoke respectfully to him. So I was a kiss ass. And they had to move me to like two different classrooms in the third grade because of issues with the teacher. So on the one hand, you got a culture that doesn't value education. You have disruption in the classroom that's being tolerated. You have teaching staff who are antagonistic towards the student. I mean, then the icing on the cake was because I had an accent, they had this wonderful revelation that I don't know English. So they had to put me in remedial English and remedial math. Now, remedial math is where I really got screwed up because it didn't take long for them to realize that when it came to reading, I was actually in the third grade reading on a high school level, right? But when it came to math, what happened there is I ended up with a teacher who was, they sent me to math lab, right? Remedial math. And I ended up with a teacher who was, the best that I can say, this individual was emotionally disturbed. That's all I'm going to say. And he
Him too.
traumatized me. He was
Him
extremely,
too.
he was extremely verbally abusive, bordering on being physically abusive. So that really traumatized me to the point that whenever I would take a math test, I would just freeze because I had so much anxiety. And the teachers, they just never made the effort to say, okay, well, he's doing okay in his course, in his classwork. He does okay on his homework, but he's failing his test. What's going on here? They didn't care. So I was consistently failing math throughout my whole school career, simply for the fact that I was suffering for, I guess now we would say it was PTSD. I carried that with me. But
Damn. So that
the
means
whole
you
system
mean to
needs
tell
to
me
be
that you were just a complaining little tether? Is that what you're telling me? I'm just playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
I'm gonna kill you. You know
I'm playing. I'm
how
playing. I'm
make
playing. I'm
me,
playing.
you know that, right?
I'm playing. I'm playing. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, but it just goes to show. Now, the 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 one thing I was lucky for is that at that time they did have a structure where the kids who were higher functioning would be placed in an environment with people that were on the same level as them. So I never really got to see, after a certain point, I never got to see just how dysfunctional the other classrooms could be. You know, it wasn't until I became a teacher myself and I started working in the public school system that I bucked up against that. And I was in a situation where I was working with, they put me with fifth graders. Why? I don't know, because my license was in junior high and high. But anyway, I was working with the top fifth grade class teaching history. And I realized that these kids were illiterate. And, their reading comprehension was non existent. Now, to show you how this goes hand in hand, because if you can't read, if you have poor reading comprehension skills, how are you going to do well in math when they're asking you different questions? When you have
Easy,
word
easy.
problems,
You make all those word problems into drug problems.
radical,
If
I'm going to fucking
if
strangle you.
if Timmy the rat gives you two
Yo,
baggies
Brad,
two baggies of crack, and each crack is $5. How much did he just give you? 10. Boom, right then and there.
all right. You don't take this.
Ah.
If you don't take this serious, I'm going to reach
I'm
through the
playing. I'm
screen.
playing. I'm playing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, but like I said, if your reading comprehension isn't there, 9 times out of 10, your math skills are going to be weak as well because you cannot comprehend what the question is asking you. And I guess this test that they take it down in Maryland, that would be the equivalent of our Regents exams.
Yeah, yeah.
These exams,
Those were state ran exams,
yeah.
like the
Now,
regions. Yeah.
now here's what people don't understand. All of these exams are literacy exams. It's literacy with reading and writing, literacy as applied to math, literacy as applied to history, literacy as applied to science. These are literacy exams. So if you're illiterate or you have poor reading comprehension skills, you're going to fail across the board. You're not going to be up to standard. So the whole system has to be revamped. And when you're in certain communities where, how do I put this? Let's just say mental health issues are a real thing, that has to be addressed. So there's a lot, the whole system as we know it needs to be broken down to the foundations and rebuilt, because we have to address the social issues that are going on. We've got kids who are emotionally traumatized, we've got families that are traumatized, you know, we've got teachers who are complacent, or they just don't believe that the students are capable. We've got administration that's self serving and the unions that are self serving. So the kids are getting lost in the shuffle here. And these kids, well, I guess you're probably gonna touch on it, in the later piece, but these schools are being funded. Where is all this money going?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna suggest and ask. But real quick, Black Girl says I developed a very good reputation with the parents. I'm from the hood, so I know what the experience is. I think that has a lot to do with it too, because there's some teachers who are disconnected from that, right?
Mhm.
Also, let me see. She goes, if Day sells two OGs and bags one OG, how much money he made? Well, yeah, exactly. He made $50. $50 that one day. And land resources back to build our own. Yeah, that's actually absolutely true.
Well, you know what's crazy?
Yeah, say what you're gonna say, because I'm gonna put the article that you sent me to,
Yeah.
so we could break that down. But go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
Back in the day when a lot of our schools, there was segregation, there were black schools, black run schools, where the kids were performing on grade level. They were in a lot of cases exceeding, the national average. And there were black schools that were known to be institutions of academic excellence. For example, Dunbar Academy in DC. That's a legendary black school. A lot of really famous African Americans came from there, like Duke Ellington, and prominent African Americans went to that school. So if we had a situation where we had schools that were 100% black and the teachers were all black and those kids were excelling, how do we end up where we are now? And if you look at the history of what happened in the South after reconstruct during the Reconstruction period, where you had people who had formerly been slaves, man, listen, these people learned to read, to write. They became literate and functional. And a lot of them, because of that education that they got, were able to get into the middle class. These were people who had been slaves. You know what it was? The passion. They had the passion because they had been they were property. You could get sold away to God knows where if they discovered that you somehow or another figured out how to read and write. And now they were given the chance. They were passionate about it. So how do we go from a situation
So
where,
you're saying that we need to sell our kids for them to get the passion?
Brad, I'm going to strangle you.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So how do we go from a situation where you have a population that was motivated, inspired, making achievements, to a situation now where a lot of the kids just don't care. They're apathetic, they're antagonistic towards education, and they're failing. How does that happen?
Uh, uh,
Ask Black Girl Reads. She knows.
That happens because they get left behind in the system.
Because the system, first of
You
all,
heard?
the system is designed to fail them because they don't want them to succeed.
That's
They
what I
never
said.
did.
I always said that.
The system doesn't want them to succeed. So the Reconstruction period only lasted 10 years and then it was dismantled. And then we had situations where kids were not allowed to go to schools because it was only white kids are allowed to go to this school, that school. Black schools were underfunded, didn't have resources. But even with that, a lot of these kids, even though their schools were underfunded, etc., they were doing a lot better than kids today. And we're talking about like 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. So you get these so-called liberals coming in here and changing things around, and you don't have to do well, you just need to feel good. And instead of creating curriculum to help kids who are struggling, oh well, we're going to make up grades and pass them. The problem that I was facing,
Is the
why
sodomites. I'm sorry, and go.
problem that I was facing, why I eventually left the profession altogether. My first teaching gig, I was blackballed for almost 2 years for bringing attention to the fact that this
These kids
fifth
were
grade
illiterate,
class,
right?
for bringing attention that this fifth grade class was illiterate. So it's like, instead of saying, okay, we need to, come up with a strategy here to help these kids. Oh, you're to blame. We need to get rid of you.
I remember you told me the story privately, and you took it upon yourself to actually teach these kids how to read before any history was even supposed to take place, right?
Yeah, this was okay, so this was after I got my license back. I had my license illegally revoked, right?
Because
And
you
just to
were
show you how
uh-huh.
screwed up the system is, the union that's supposed to be there to protect teachers did absolutely nothing to help me, right? But when I had a friend at the time who was a lawyer, and she wrote a letter, and magically, with that one letter, she was able to do what the UFT wasn't able to.
Did the letter start with "I am a white woman"?
No, the letter was from a lawyer threatening
Uh,
legal action
well, there you go.
if they didn't fix it.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden, I got my license back, and now I was working in another junior high school. They put me to work with special ed kids. Now, these were kids who were developmentally challenged, but I guess the unpolitically correct term would be mildly retarded.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
Those are my friends. Yeah, that's right. You're. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So there was only one student there that was just really so severely disabled that, I mean, they were just basically babysitting her.
Hey! Don't talk about my first girlfriend. All right.
So,
Yeah. Love you,
you know,
Esmeralda. You will always be my first. Not just playing. Not playing. Not playing. Go ahead.
I was supposed to be the history teacher, but I
Uh,
couldn't do any history with them because, listen, these kids were at this point, they were in the seventh or eighth grade.
but yeah, because I think at that time you graduate by your age, right?
Well,
It was
what
something like that. You
is that
graduate.
they were special ed. So special ed is like the phantom zone.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do anything with them because these kids didn't even know the alphabet.
Why would they?
Nobody had ever,
They
they
just
just got
know
written off.
A means A, B means B.
They just
Yeah.
got written off. They got written off. Oh, they're retarded.
But
You
but
can't
but
expect
but
anything from them.
really quickly, just continue on how you made them actually learn how to
Yeah,
read real quick.
because number one, I knew that they could do it,
Yo,
and I
no
told
lie,
them,
no lie, no, yo, no lie. I don't know why, but have you seen the movie? You seen the movie? You seen the movie? Helen Keller. How the girl actually taught Helen Keller how to spell and read and writing all that other shit.
yeah,
Were you like touching these kids' hands like apple, apple?
these kids were just very mildly disabled.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
wasn't dealing with Helen Kellers.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Shout out to
But
shout out
but
to my shout out to my boy Helmet Keith. You know what I mean? He always
but
held it down. He never snitched. All he did was drool. That's what I'm
but
talking about.
Helen Keller is a perfect example of what can be achieved when you believe in the child and their ability. So if
Yeah.
someone like Helen Keller could learn how to read and write, don't tell me that any of these kids can't do the same. The problem is that the teachers and the system doesn't believe that they're
Yo, no
capable,
lie.
and they're
No lie.
unwilling.
When I was like failing middle school, and they told me that Helen Keller story, and I saw how Shorty looked like, I wrote the whole thing off. I'm like, she white. That's why. That's why they gave so much attention to her. Yo, everybody started laughing. My teachers didn't like it though. I was a class clown, by the way.
I'm gonna find out where you live. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
dead ass. I was considered I was a class clown everywhere I went, bro.
Really? I
Yeah,
can't see that.
dead ass. Like I was a class. No, but check this out though. I would still pass my grades. I would like still passing all that other stuff. But I think was it one of my teachers told my mom. She she said he's highly disruptive but very curious about education and passes everything and very intelligent. But it seems she wrote in big bold. It seems like he's looking for outward attention, and I'm like, no, you're looking for outward attention, just like that with your boobs all out. Fuck out of here. You know what that's calling my block? A hoe. And then that's when my mom was like, "Gay? No, let me stop." So continue, bro.
But once again, it's like it's the expectation that you have with the kids. So what I started doing with them, I taught them the alphabet because, honest to God, they couldn't repeat anything.
Bro, did you talk about mentally
Deep.
retarded? Bro, I don't think they even understood what the alphabet was, bro.
No, they did because, like I said, they were only mildly disabled.
Dude, no lie, no lie. You were probably like that Susan Shorty that taught Coco the gorilla how to how to do sign language.
No,
That was you, bro. That was you, bro.
it wasn't even. They were. When I say they were mild, like honestly, if you encountered them like in real life, you probably wouldn't pick up on it.
Oh, I probably
You
would
know.
have. I probably would have picked
So
up on it.
that's the thing. It's like I had to teach them. So I had to teach them the alphabet. I had one kid in particular. His name was Sine, and I forget where he was from. He was from, I think he was from Senegal.
Oh,
But
another
he
tether.
was
I'm just playing. I'm
born,
playing. I'm playing. Uh-huh.
but I think he came here when he was like really, really young.
Yeah.
And, listen, this kid's reading score went through the roof. Because not only did he learn, once he learned the alphabet and I showed him how you put the letters together to make sound, this kid started going to the library and checking out books himself. And every
Oh
time
shit.
he wanted to read anything. I got these kids to the point where they could read. We could actually read. I
And
taught them how to.
the reason why I brought Truth Teacher here is because I want to let him know that I was one of those students Because of you, I still don't know how to read. You fucking asshole! You failed me. All right, you're a failure. No, just playing.
I failed you, and I was happy to do it too.
No. Let's go to what you said me about the Bronx. BX.
Yeah, but let you know, just to preface it, you know, what I'm sharing with everyone is what I was able to achieve with these kids because I believed that I got them to the point where they could read. But the end of that story is that instead of the administration really being happy about my achievement, you know, the principal comes in and she's like, "Well, where are you in the curriculum?" And I said, "Well, the early colonial period." And she says, "And where should they be?" And I said, "The Civil War." The Civil War. I said, "You don't understand. I had to teach them how to read. They couldn't read. No one had ever taken the time to try to teach them." So, long story made short, I got pulled out of that classroom, and I guarantee you that's exactly where their education stopped. Because nobody, I guarantee you, nobody came in there that was willing to do what I did with them.
That's right. So shout out to Truth Teacher. He's for the children. He's for the children. Now, Truth Teacher sends me this article, right? It says entire Bronx Success Academy class, ACE's statewide math exam. First of all, before we go into it, let's judge the kids real quick. He looked like he's about to play baseball. You know what I mean? He's gonna get like a girl pregnant in like maybe 2-3 years. I don't know why she's even there. She's probably the principal. She didn't even take no. He's gonna be the dopest, right? This is his mixtape cover. Look at that. Look at that shit. She's probably like his cousin or whatever the case is. He looked like he's a little smart scientist. So shout out to him. This dude looked like a reggaeton artist, light skinned motherfucker. All right, so let's do this. Do you see the screen?
Yeah, but it's small and
Are you seeing it on your phone, you asshole?
I can see it now.
Okay, all right. So go right ahead, bro. Read it.
Me to read it? No, you read it. Damn it.
No, you read it. Remember, you didn't teach me how to read, so I don't know.
Well, this is part of the lesson. I believe in you, so get to it.
Fuck you. How about this? I read from here to here, and then you read just from here to there.
Well,
okay?
let's do it this way, Radical. We'll take turns reading different paragraphs.
Whatever. All right. The entire Bronx charter school class in the nation's poorest congressional district not only passed the algebra, that's how you say algebra, by the way, Regents exam, but aced it. Officials told the Post. I can't believe that these little 8th grade motherfuckers actually aced it. One of them actually robbed me in the train station, which is crazy, right? Where 90% of the students who qualify for free lunch conquered the Regents test with ranks of 5 out of 5 according to the charter schools network. That mark
corresponds
to the score of 85 or higher on the math test. School administrators announced the triumph that a graduation celebration last week sends parents and wait, what the fuck just happened? Okay. Parents and relatives into joyous festivities. I added festivities. Fuck out of here. The frenzy. Fuck out of here. The collective pride of the whole room was thought through the roof, said Principal Todd Jinigliagli. The principal said, I can't believe these little motherfuckers actually did it. I was betting against them. Former teacher called Truth Teacher said, yeah, I was betting against them too. I can't believe it. Anyway, check me out the Radical Latinos live stream on YouTube. That's crazy. Thank you for the shout out, Truth. You want to continue?
Okay, I'll take this paragraph now. Thank you very much for your participation, Radical.
Fuck you. Go ahead.
Taking the test in the 8th grade. Hold on a second. Let me blow up my screen.
It says puts.
Taking this test in the 8th grade puts students
There
in
you go.
position to tackle advanced math courses like calculus in high school. Passing the exam earns high school credit and scores are reflected in transcripts. All 467 Success Academy 8th grade students across their network took the test in took the test this academic year, and 99% passed with a minimum rank of 3 or a score of 65. Of that group, 56% scored at the top level of 5. At traditional public schools, 34% of all 8th graders took the test in 2017 through 18, and 82% passed with a minimum score level of 3, according to City Department of Education. The percentage of students who
Nudge.
notched a score of 5 was not immediately available, a DOE spokesman said.
Wow. It says, I'm gonna just read this last part. I'm not going to lower the bar. She said, my idea is that not only can everyone do math, why the fuck is this moving? Math, but that they can excel at math. I told this to parents and they believed me. Okay, cool. So pretty much that the charter school went to level 5, but all the other public schools around got to score to level 3, right?
Yeah, so now consider the fact that,
Now let's try to now let me ask you, Truth.
yeah,
Oh wait, let me ask you, Truth. Why do you think that occurred? What's the difference in this charter school than any other charter school
in the
around the
regular
air?
public schools.
Yeah, is it because they're from the Bronx?
Well, here's the thing. It's like there's nothing really special about these kids. They come from the same population as the kids in the public schools. They're in the same neighborhood, you know? But what's different about this school is they created a curriculum designed to teach the kids. And as the lady said in the article, she believes in them and she holds them to high standards. And I can also bet you that they've got mechanisms in place to make sure that the kids who are disruptive are removed. So they've created a culture of academic excellence in that school. Whereas this idea, if you're doing well in school, oh, you trying to be white, you're a nerd, and all of this, that doesn't exist there. So the children feel safe to be able to push themselves and to excel because they don't feel the pressure, number one, to have to dumb themselves down in order to be cool. And they've got teachers and parents that are on board.
Yeah,
So,
somebody has a question for you, Truth.
yeah, what's the question?
It says right here from Daniel. I don't know. Are you saying it?
How then those Montessori schools have students of all races and backgrounds that are in 3rd or 4th grade doing calculus and algebra, reading and writing? That's a perfect example. It's because they believe that the kids are able to learn and they create curriculum to get them there. They hold them to high standards. They don't tolerate disruption in the classroom. And there's a culture of of respect,
So
academic achievement.
I'm gonna say and just jump out the limb here and say it's a combination of the school, teachers, staff, and parents
Absolutely.
that will have a kid reading and doing everything at a grade level, you would say, because if the teacher is doing something but there's some disruptive kids, it's up to the school to take care of that and the staff of that school to take care of that, and so everybody else could study and do what they have to do for by removing those disruptive kids. And it's up to the parents that also need to start doing what they have to do for those kids. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like I said, we need to dismantle the whole thing and build the structure back from the foundation. So, kids that are disruptive, well, first of all, we got to figure out what the hell is going on with them. Why are they acting out? And they need to be in, we need to create appropriate settings to deal with the issues that they're having, whether it be psychological or whatever, whatever their situation is.
So
They need to have the right counsel. First of all, if you're acting out like that, something is going on emotionally with you.
yeah.
There has to be a safety net there, a foundation to find out what's going on with them and to give them the support that they need to resolve their issues.
So
educate.
part of the article that I'm reading, it says the charter schools opportunities to success is part by shipping some of the money that traditional public school systems have, but putting it into the curriculum, pruning problematic students and failing students out of the school, and having to ensure proper transparency was a success for this academy. Says spokesperson Julia, whatever her last name is. So it seems like this charter school was pretty much saying like, if you're a problematic student, then your ass shouldn't even be here.
Exactly. And that's the way it's got to be. But you see, this is what we don't have in the school system. It's all
Yeah.
about this
So
nice,
let
nice,
me
good
let
bullshit.
me let me ask you then, really quickly, in your wow, this article is pretty extensive. So let me ask you something. How come these charter schools, right, aren't afraid to take some of those problematic students out?
Because they're not under the auspices of the Board of Education.
Got it. Okay, so let me ask you one more thing, and then from there we'll start wrapping it up. Would you as a former teacher, would you recommend kids go to charter schools or public school?
Well, look, honest to God, I would recommend sending kids to a private school or
Mm,
a Catholic school at the very least, if you could. Now, I understand that not everybody's going to be in a position to do that, and not everybody can get into their kids into a charter school. But what I would say is that if you're one of those parents that are stuck and you have no other choice, sending your kids to a public school, you're going to have to be very hands-on with your child. For example, my little brother, his son is slightly autistic, and his son was failing. His son was failing. My brother had to step in and invest the time to work with his son and let it be known that he expected him to succeed. And not gonna lie, one or two times he had to bust his ass, to let him know, look, I'm not fucking around. I really mean this. This is serious. I'm taking this shit serious, and I expect you to fall in line. He's doing great now. All those Asian students that they talk about, that's the same thing that their parents do with them. You better bet. Listen, you don't believe me? Go ask some of your Asian friends. What happens to them if they come home and they're not doing well in school? They get their ass whooped. Their parents take it very, very seriously. So the first thing, it starts at the home first. And even if your skills aren't up to par, that
yeah.
doesn't mean that your kids cannot succeed. You need to let them know that this is what you expect of them. And one thing I would say that parents can also do to improve their kids' literacy, get them in the habit of reading.
Mm.
Buy them a newspaper every morning. You're going to read this article to me. And then after you finish reading it, okay, put it in your own words and explain to me what that article was trying to say.
Nah, that's too much work. Nah, fuck out of here. I want to play some PlayStation.
Take the PlayStation away, cut down the social
If,
media.
if you take the PlayStation, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill
Well,
myself. You
then it
take the
was nice
PlayStation.
knowing you.
Oh, what the fuck?
For real. Listen. Your kids have to know that you take this seriously. Not a, oh, I feel so bad. He wants to go. No, fuck that shit. No. When your kids know that you take this seriously and you expect them to, perform on a certain level, 9 times out of 10, they step up to the plate. But if you come with this liberal, nicey nice bullshit, feel good nonsense, look, hey, the results speak for themselves. This is how we end up with this situation. Because nobody wants to hurt the kids' feelings. Listen,
Yeah.
when I was doing my student teaching, right? Actually, you went to environmental high school, right? Rad.
What?
I said you went to environmental high school.
Yes, I did.
I did my student teaching in that high school.
I know that's how I learned how to. That's how I learned how to read. I know.
Listen, at the time that I was there, it was a pretty good school. It started slipping because the principal and the vice principal started getting that fucking nicey nice liberal attitude. You know, they put
Yeah,
me
I heard that school started failing. To be honest.
that school. It was a really good school when I started.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
me too.
started like substitute teaching there, and then I did my student teaching there. They put me with a special ed class, and once again, a special ed environment where no one was working with these kids. And I came in there. There was some kids in there that were legitimately emotionally disturbed. There was one kid there that just wanted to act up, and I targeted on the problem kid. I said, "Look, this is what I expect from you. If you don't abide by it, you can't be here." So I would bust him down to the principal's office, like, "Yo, I got a job to do, and you acting out,
Nah,
you
nah,
out of
nah,
here."
nah, nah, nah. Fuck that. Fuck that,
After I
yo.
did
Nah,
that,
nah, nah.
well,
Fuck that.
after I did
Nah,
that
fuck that.
2 or
Nah, fuck
3
that.
times,
Nah, I'm not going. I'm not going nowhere. Nah, fuck that.
well, the security, they were cool with me. So, oh, you giving him a problem? You out of here. After I did that like 2 or 3 times to show him that I meant what I said,
Yeah.
he calmed down. Then I could
Mm,
start working with the kids.
yeah.
But then, here's the thing now. A lot of people will say, oh, well, it's what. Unfortunately, you can't put this down to, oh, we just need to get more, minority teachers in here.
No, it's a
Because
combination of a lot of things, though.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
things.
So
And the people, listen, this whole thing about lowered expectations, you're coming into a system that is at its heart, it's a white supremacist system, right? And you come in there, even if you're a person of color, a lot of times you got to toe the line.
yeah,
So you end up adopting the culture of the environment that you end up being in. Instead of you changing
yeah,
the system ends up changing you.
yeah,
And the person that was supposed to be my mentor for that special ed class was a black man. He only had like 2 more years to go before he retired. This man became my nemesis because I made these kids do something that he never did. And he's bragging, oh, my kids passed the Regents exam every year.
Was
Yeah,
he
because
was he
he's
the computer teacher? Was he the computer teacher, by the way?
no.
Oh,
But a lot of bullshit goes on in these schools. They
yeah.
force the teachers to pass these kids, even though they know they're not reading on grade level.
And that's it. No, that's it. And that's it. That's basically how they do it. They
Yeah,
just
and then
force
when
them
it
how to
comes
pass it.
yeah, and then when it comes to these tests, a lot of times the teachers will give the kids the answer.
Yeah.
And that why? Because it makes the school look good.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, is to make the school look good. But listen, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I'm gonna play something real quick right now. How Asian parents teach their kids. And I don't know if this is going to resonate with some of y'all, but let's play some of it, okay?
Talk when you want your failure to do anything or not do anything, you can always convince them by using an example. The more ridiculous, the more convincing. Hey, can I go to the movies with Brett? Oh yeah, you can go. Remember your neighbor's kid? He went to the movie once, went home with the wrong family. Now he lives in Bangkok. Bangkok, fantastic place. You probably enjoy it. Bam, got him. Is that cold water? Oh no, you can drink as much as you want. I knew a kid in 6th grade taller in his class, and then he grew up to an adult 4'11". He drank cold water, like froze all his high octane. No problem. You can go ahead and drink cold water. I want to play some PlayStation. Of course, go play the PlayStation. But I have to warn you, I knew this friend playing PlayStation in the front room hit by a cat. So, it's safer in the back, away from the window where your piano is. So while you're there, you might as well practice.
So I wanted just to play that right quick. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to everybody listening right now. Truth, you want to say anything before you go?
Yeah, parents, if you got kids, work with your kids. Listen, I know you're working hard, you're tired, and all of that, but if you don't invest in your kids, nobody is going to do it. And even if your kids are in a good school, you got to realize that this forces a lot of times working against teachers who do care. So even if you do have teachers who do care, a lot of times, just like me, they're really got their hands tied in how much they can do. There's a
Yeah.
lot of politics behind the scene and a lot of red tape. You have to be actively involved in your kids' education. And look, here's another thing. Now, social media, it's a blessing and a curse. The good part that of social media, platforms like YouTube, for example, you can go on here. If you got kids that aren't doing well in math, you can go on here and you can find extremely talented teachers who have tutorials on any subject in math, literacy, science. So don't just
Yeah.
rely on what the kids are getting in the classroom. Supplement their education with these resources that you can
Thanks.
find online. And you need to let them know that you are taking this seriously
Yeah.
and be involved. You want them to read to you. Number
No,
one thing,
not only
have them
that, like
read to you.
some people, some kids are like visual.
Yeah.
They're very visual. So no, you're right. But continue. Go ahead.
Have your kids read to you. Get listen,
You got
buy
one more minute. Go ahead. You got one more minute. Go ahead.
comic books. Buy comic books. Have them read to you. Read the comic book to you. Okay, now tell me in your own words what just happened here. Every time they read a sentence or a character, explain to me what that meant. What's going on here? Make it fun.
Yeah.
That's how I learned to read. I learned how to read reading comic books.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Truth. Oh, shout out to K-Fit. What's going on, K-Fit? So thank you very much, Truth. This is the reason why I wanted him here is because he has a lot more experience than I do in the educational system. Hopefully, you guys found out a little bit more about that situation, and we got more, educated uh, with that as well. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm gonna catch everybody later. Peace.